Okay, here we are. We got the 2003 F-150, and I changed the gas tank, and at the same time I cleaned up and rust painted the frame. So last night it was down to freezing. So what I did was I scraped and painted the frame, and then I covered it with a tarp, and I put a ceramic heater under there, and it dried it quite well overnight. And this morning what I did was I hooked all the connections up to the fuel tank here, and what I did was I sprung for some new sensors. So this is a vent, I put that in, and this is a pressure sensor for the tank, that's a new one, and there's another vent for the tank here. And I used the same sending unit, but I put a new fuel pump and suction strainer down in there, and that's a new fuel tank as well. And I painted it with 2 coats of Tremclad, which is a rust preventative paint. Anyway, it looks pretty good. I mean, there's always a little spot you don't get to, but it'll help save it. Of course, now that tank was, I think, the original tank, so they've been about 15 years old. So it was time. It was pretty rusty. What it was doing was, the symptoms were when the tank was anywhere but full, it was fine, but when I filled it completely, I would have a strong fuel odor for several days until the level dropped down to about, 3/4 of a tank. And what I found when I took the old tank out was these parts that are up under the frames here where they touch, they were really heavily corroded, and they were weeping fuel. So when the tank was most full, it would leak. And why I changed these sensors, now some people would just twist them out and you reuse them, but they were very brittle. These ones were so brittle, and this one wasn't far behind, so I looked online and I bought some at a good price. And yeah, so there's all new sensors, well, two vents and a sensor, and a new fuel filler hose, and the overflow hose is new, and like I say, the fuel pump. Anyway, there it is. And the next step here is to install the bed. So I got new bed hardware. I bought a kit online from Rock Auto, and it comes with the clips with the nut integral to it. And then there's 6 of them on this style of truck. On some of the other trucks like Chevys, I think there's 8 bolts, but there's 6. There's one here, one there, and one there, one there, and one there, and one there. So that's going to be the next step. I just wanted to show the new bolts here before I put them in. So there's the bed bolts. They have an Allen head in them, and the originals had a Torx head, but very close, so you can use an Allen wrench in there instead of a Torx. And they're real heavy duty. They're good size. The reason I'm changing the bolts is these are the old ones, and no matter what I did, I put heat on them, I put penetrating, I put PB blaster on it, I couldn't get them to move. So what I ended up doing was I took a disc grinder and I cut the heads off in a square. I just cut down both sides, top and bottom, until I got the head cut off inside the bed, and then these would drop through a bit. I could pull the bed off, and then the clips and everything are just frozen, rusty. And so what you do is these clips, they sit in against the frame like that, right here. So to get out the clip, all I did was I took the grinder after and I cut across here, and then this separates, and then that falls out the bottom. So yeah, 15 years in there and probably never been out. So anyway, here's the new stuff, and it comes with a new washer, and it comes with the bolt and the clip with the washer on the nut on it you saw there on the bed or on the frame. Very good. And there is one of the bolts with the clip. So the clip just slides in over the frame like this. It's got the nut in it so it doesn't come out, and that just slides in there, lines up with that hole. And then when you've got the bed on, just put the washer on the bolt and slide it down through, And I'm going to put some Never-Seez or grease on these so that should I ever want to take the bed off again, it should come out pretty easy. Okay, so what I've got done is there's an old carport here with a chain block, and I've slung the bed on the four corners, and I've been letting it down, and we're just about there.